CEO of ShareLove.Fund, and today we are starting our first session of our RYT 300 training. So welcome back. You have completed your RYT 200 training with ShareLove.Fund or elsewhere, and you wanted to get deeper into teacher training, and that's what we're all about here. So welcome back. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about our materials, since that's the first session, and I'm going to invite you into a comfortable seated position, Sukhasana. And this first session, we are going to review what you learned in your RYT 200 briefly, and talk about what to expect in this RYT 300. So, in the RYT 200, we examined the sutras by Patanjali. For this RYT 300, you have 30 hours of yoga philosophy. And if you want to, for our high school leaders who want a Spanish immersion language experience, we have the sutras in Espanol, and this is a way to sort of challenge yourself. Also for our native Spanish speakers, this might be more comfortable. And this, since we've already done it in the RYT 200, this would be one of your yoga philosophy optional materials. The materials that we're definitely going to go through as a group is the Gita. You can't escape that. And that is new material for our RYT 300s. We did not go over it in the RYT 200. So this is exciting stuff. And you know what this is. So we're going to take a deep dive, really get into the nitty-gritty, and become sages. So that will be super fun. In the RYT 200, we focus on sun salutation A as sort of our anchor. And in this RYT 300, we are going to focus on sun salutation B as our anchor. In our RYT 200, we focused on chair yoga as our elective. And in our RYT 300, we are focusing on partner yoga. And the idea is you're already in RYT 200. So if you don't have a partner, then that's your challenge. Either you're a yoga teacher and you should have maybe other colleagues or students to practice with, or if you are not a teacher and don't have access to other people, then that's sort of your next level challenge, is how to connect with another person to complete some of your training. If you really can't find someone, you know, you can borrow one of these big guys. Do imagination. It's okay. It's not a requirement to actually work with someone, but it's nice, and I think that as part of an RYT 300, it's great to take your teaching skills that you already have, because you're already a yoga teacher, and you really should be interacting with someone using those skills, whether it's actually teaching yoga or just bringing mindfulness into the office, or mindfulness into the classroom if you're a student, and so forth. So without further ado, let's just stretch a little bit, and we'll break up the talking. So you can follow along, or you can do other stretches that serve you to loosen you up. All of you are teachers, so I could be taking your class just as much as you could be taking mine. And this is an opportunity to think about what your goals are. What led you to sign up for the RYT 300? Is it because you want continuity on your college resume, if you're one of our high school leaders? That you did the RYT 200, and it's gonna look good if you stick with it, because you did the RYT 200 in 9th grade, and you think, oh man, I better do the 300 in 10th grade. better do the child certification or the prenatal certification in 11th grade, and maybe apprentice in our Karma Yoga program in the 12th grade. Or maybe you're a yoga teacher at a yoga school and they want you to get this certification. Or maybe the certification is just a way to help you focus and prioritize your own practice. Or maybe it's something else. But getting in touch with what led you here and what you hope to achieve sets you up for success in achieving those things. Let's breathe in, arms up, and shake it all out. We'll breathe in and twist. Now you should not twist if you're pregnant, and nothing herein shall be construed as medical advice. You can sort of up the ante of your practice in this RYT 300 by connecting food and how you feel. Maybe throughout this training, you want to keep a food journal. Our high school leaders and graduates wrote this lovely book, Broadening Our Horizons, available on Amazon. 100% of proceeds fund our outreach program and our prison yoga outreach program. But in writing this book, our high school leaders really learned about the connection between food and mood. And part of controlling their minds and bodies was also making deliberate decisions about what they eat. And one of our young authors who wrote a few chapters in that book, she traveled and she paid attention to how she ate while she traveled. And she also did a scientific experiment, collected data from her friends, how they ate when they traveled, if they had parents that weren't American, how that might have influenced what was on their dinner table. And it was really interesting. And through that, people can use their own critical thinking skills and make deliberate decisions to feel their best self. At ShareLove.Fund, we don't advocate a particular way of eating. And what I've personally found in my wellness search, because you'll hear about it more in the prenatal class, but I gained 80 pounds when I had my babies, and I've really been on a wellness search. One of the things I was dumbfounded by was all the conflicting information about diets. And I thought, oh, who's right and who's wrong? And what I realized is some of that conflicting information is people want to make a quick buck. But some of that conflicting information is because truly certain things work for certain people and not for others. And the reason why it's so hard to crack the code on what exactly to eat is it's really person specific. I mean, eggs can negatively affect one person, but be a great source of protein for another. And so that's what's tough about it. There is no book cheat sheet that's going to be great for everyone. And what I have found sort of works for everyone, but it takes a lot of time, is keeping a food journal, maintaining your yoga practice, and trying to be cognizant of what you're putting in your mouth and how you feel, and reflecting upon that and coming to your own conclusions, and writing a book about what's good for you. So anyway, we'll continue the stretch. You can put your head all the way back. We'll put our feet together, open up our feet like a book, lean forward, stretch our arms, walk to one side and exhale. Walk to the other side and exhale. We'll do some more of these stretches, really opening up the obliques. Even if you're pregnant, obviously don't do something that hurts, but stretching this side can help. Never twisting, but stretching can offer a little relief. Relaxing the neck. And in this RYT 300, we are going to go over the 84 key poses of Hatha Yoga. So in the RYT 200, we can just sort of relax our necks as we're talking. I don't want to put people in a classroom any longer than they have to. So I encourage stretching and moving while we go over the basics. But anyway, in the RYT 200, we went over 45 key poses plus Sun Salutation A. In the RYT 300, we're going to go over 84 most common poses in Hatha Yoga and Sun Salutation B. For the elective, you don't need this book. This book is not part of the course material. I'm just showing it just to be fun. But there's a fun partner yoga book for inspiration. Something like this looks easy, so hard to keep the back straight. One person's forward, one person's back. It really, really burns, and it can be super silly. And that's the kind of fun we're gonna have. And a little bit more serious note, but we'll take another stretch before, is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our prison yoga work for those of you that are taking this teacher training to the next level and might want to volunteer for that and make a difference in their lives. Nobody needs to feel bad if they don't. You're making a difference in your own life by making decisions that serve you. So different volunteer opportunities work for different people. But for people interested, I would love to tell you about our work. And for people not interested in actually doing it, sometimes it's just something to keep your mind busy so you can get a little deeper into your stretch. So you can continue sort of stretching side to side and forward. And I want to read you 2 contracts that we provide our inmates when they start our program. They don't really need to sign these contracts, but it's more to illustrate that it's more than yoga. So we don't go over it too much in our RYT 200 because it's a little intense. The RYT 200s are just trying to learn the moves themselves. And now as an RYT 300, you've taught a class as your practicum, and now you can take it to the next level, wherever that may be. So for our inmates, we give an option of 2 contracts. Option 1, contract A. I am committed to improving myself. I understand that there will be challenges. I promise to be honest with myself and my teachers in expressing the struggles that I face in meeting those challenges. I will make efforts not to let my mind focus on blaming others. I will remind myself to breathe and try to make decisions and take actions from a place of abundance. I accept that the only person who can improve my life is me. I am committed to making an effort to engage in positive thinking, positive self-talk, and visualization of positive goals. I expect the first day to be hard, but I know each subsequent day will be easier. I will not be surprised when there are setbacks, and I will utilize obstacles as an opportunity to demonstrate how strong and focused I am. I know that after a month of committing to yoga and positive thinking, it will become a habit, and it will get easier every day. I am here at ShareLove.Fund because I want to change the story of my life. I comprehend that ShareLove.Fund only accepts one student at a time in order to work with the teacher trainee one-to-one, and I understand that by accepting this teacher trainee position, ShareLove.Fund needed to put other candidates on a waiting list. I'm taking this position as their teacher trainee because I know that they believe in me. And while I only feel like a whisper at the moment, I believe in me too. And then there's an area, I'll just bring it for the teacher trainee to sign and us to sign and date. And this is sort of what happens when a lawyer goes into the yoga world. You know, the first thing we want to do is make a contract. Okay, so option B. So that sounded nice, okay? Someone's committed to making a difference and they don't feel like it just happened by accident. They recognize that someone else is believing in them, and that can be the catalyst for them to believe in themselves. Option 2. I am not committed to improving myself. I want the results, but not enough to commit to the work. By the way, everybody, when I read this, not on YouTube because you can't interrupt, but in person, everyone, when I read this, they always interrupt. They say, who signed that? Did anybody sign that? No, nobody has signed option B, but you see people, their eyes well up with tears, and it strikes a chord because a lot of people want a change, but they are not willing to let go of the things necessary to start building themselves. So it's a reality check, this option B. Okay, we continue. As we continue, you can kind of do a twist or what feels good, or we can do sort of double pigeon. Okay, option B. I am not committed to improving myself. I want the results, but not enough to commit to the work required to achieve them. I believe that I am a victim and that my happiness rests in the mercy of others. I believe that I stumbled upon ShareLove.Fund by luck and that no part of me deserves to be here. I doubt my ability to graduate from ShareLove.Fund's teacher training program with a certificate approved by the internationally respected Yoga Alliance. People have told me that I am worthless, and I believe them. I cannot focus on helping myself because I'm too busy blaming others. I cannot commit to a yoga schedule as required by the policies of ShareLove.Fund's teacher trainee program because I refuse to set boundaries with others. I will continue to feel miserable by allowing myself to be manipulated by emergencies and needs of others. I am vulnerable and I'm too fearful to close my boundaries to allow my wounds to heal. I'm afraid to be still as required in this teacher training because I'm afraid to look inside. If I look inside, I might loathe myself too. I hear the words that ShareLove.Fund exists to help me and not judge me, but I am too focused on judging the people who hurt me. I cannot accept the kindness of ShareLove.Fund because I am unwilling to change the status quo of my situation. I'm attached to familiarity, even though I know it does not serve me. I cannot let go of pain because I'm too veiled in self-sorrow to visualize a better life for myself. I know that if I do not create a new pattern of positive behavior, that the negative fear cycle will only repeat. I do want a better life for myself, but my focus is on revenge or negative thoughts about those who hurt me. I put most of my energy into how the world should treat my aggressors, and little to no energy on how I should treat myself. I do not believe in the potential ShareLove.Fund sees in me. And I do not wholeheartedly want to take steps forward for a brighter future. So it's not super happy-go-lucky, but it's a reality check. And this is the contract for option B. And what I tell my students is being happy is not the same as being right. Let's just do double pigeon on the other side so we're even. Being happy is not the same as being right. And that's something that's my opinion, and I welcome you to agree or disagree. At ShareLove.Fund, we're not trying to impose a particular view. What we are trying to do is help people feel empowered and confident to make their own decisions, and authenticity is key. And I would rather have people thinking their own thoughts and disagreeing with me than have people taking my word for it. So through challenges and friction, we reach better results. But it's really important that people really believe in themselves and have the courage to make their own decisions. So here, let's make a stretch here. So one of the hardest things in my work is that you can't help everyone. And as you know, ShareLove.Fund is a 501c3 charitable institution founded to empower youth and women and at-risk women through the principles and teachings of yoga, and especially pregnant incarcerated women. And what we found since we founded in 2020 is that it's actually super easy to help incarcerated women because they have a routine and they're within a boundary, and crazy stuff can't come into their lives, and manipulators can't throw off their schedule. And it's also super easy to help high school leaders because they also are on a schedule and have boundaries. And the people that we have had the most difficulty helping are actually adult women who are not incarcerated. Probably adult men too, but we don't work with adult men who are not incarcerated. We just work with youth and women. But the boundary issue is a real issue, and you can't create strength when you're all spread out. So you have to kind of like pull it in and focus, whether that's physically or mentally. And thinking about this contract, it's really about setting boundaries and letting go of blame, and this idea that maybe it is unfair and maybe somebody really did wrong you, but then you have to ask yourself, are you better off like telling the world how terrible they are? Are you better off getting an education and getting yourself a job and getting your kids back? You only have so much time in the day, and these are not decisions for me to make. These are individual decisions for others to make, but that's where it comes from, where we say at ShareLove.Fund, like, being right is not the same as being happy. We're not telling people what to do, but we're just acknowledging that our clients on the fight of righteousness have been on their own private island in a very long, treacherous, lonely place for a long time, and it's very hard to help them. And yoga teaches about letting go, and sometimes it helps us, like, I'm not advocating what's right or wrong, but I'm just saying sometimes it helps us to just forgive and rebuild. And one of the really beautiful parts in this charity work that I've loved, here, we'll stretch this way, is the Ukrainian program participants that we've helped. They have said to us, one of them said, I don't pray for Ukraine, I pray for world peace. And I just thought that was so beautiful because it shows forgiveness. They just want it to end. They just want it to end. They're not, the participants in our program have such positive, beautiful things to say. You know, all we can do is love and hope and pray, and you know, and they just really focus on the positive. You know, those are words that they'll say, and I think that they have been more resilient to what's going on because they're not using their energy to you know, to be on this righteous battle. And look, it's obvious what's going on there. People know that they have been wronged. But instead of them repeating what's on the news, they're focusing on surviving and keeping themselves nourished and making strategic decisions for survival. So I thought that that was really beautiful. You know, how they pray for world peace and are able to let go of revenge. So if Ukrainians can let go of that feeling of righteousness, you know, maybe we can too. And not because it's the nice thing to do, but actually because it helps you build a brighter future for yourself. So anyway, we'll take this a little deeper stretch. We'll shake it out. We can do a forward fold first, bending the legs, then putting one foot out and then the other. And then as part of our review, we will, you can bend your knees so it's like a flat back, one leg out and then the other. You can kind of go back, stretch your back and neck this way. And as part of our review, we'll do sun salutation A, and then next week we will focus on sun salutation B. Okay, well you guys are pros. You've all graduated from the RYT 200, so I will just do it in silence. I'll move this lovely flower so I don't knock it over. And you can really think about your breath, connecting your breath as you move. Please feel free to work at your own pace. And we'll just do this a bunch. Getting into our own personal rhythms. You can do up dog or cobra or baby cobra. I like to spend some time in downward dog and really stretch, so I'll be here a while. You don't have to follow me in that. But this is your practice. You're certified teachers, and just, you know, take ownership of it. If you want to lift up a leg, you can. And lift the board. Or here, I think I'm like this. Okay, it's good. It's creating heat. I'm a little now warmed up. So traditionally we don't wear socks in yoga because you can slip, but I like to be cozy. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Now, if you want, we can spend some time in forward fold and just walk our hands to one side and walk our hands to the other. You can put your hands under your feet. And sort of in that contract B, the fear of stillness. You know, sometimes we keep busy because we're afraid to be alone. What if, why is that? What are we afraid of to be alone? Are we afraid that we will rethink our actions and loathe ourselves? Is that why we keep so busy? Because we're afraid of our own judgment and scorn of ourselves? Or are we just so busy because nowadays it takes 2 incomes to kind of survive, and we're sort of in flux as a society with this? Or are we so busy because we're not setting boundaries and we're not making deliberate choices? We're just reacting to all the emails and all the things sent to us that maybe we don't even have time to evaluate what to say yes or what to say no to. Maybe we're really busy and that invigorates us and we like it. You know, there's no right or wrong answer, and the answer changes depending on what's going on in your life. But the idea is that we aren't as comfortable with stillness as a society as we are with being super crazy busy slammed. And I don't know, it seems a little counterintuitive. It seems like being super crazy would be harder to adjust to than just being bored. But we don't really get an opportunity to be bored. We always have our phones. There's always something. We can listen to music. Every second of the day can be filled with somebody else's thoughts in our mind. But what would our minds say if we were just still? So here we'll stay here for a little bit and explore stillness. If you feel lightheaded, feel free to do another posture. All of you are teachers. You've done the 11 poses in sun salutation. You've studied our 45 key poses. You have a whole repertoire. You have our 5 sequences of our 45 poses, plus our sun salutation, so 6 sequences to choose from, plus you had the sequences that you did for your 3 10-minute teaching videos for the RYT 200. So that's 9 sequences for sure that you studied. So you are good to do your own thing if that serves you. But I'm going to hang out here and just really beat this concept of stillness with a stick. Like nothing's going to bite us if we're just still. And you can take a deep breath and try to drop into the pose, relaxing your neck and shoulder. You can sway a little from side to side, back and forward. Inhale, half lift. And exhale. Jump back into plank. You can do knees, chest, chin. To cobra. And push up to downward dog. I'm going to stay here a little bit too and just really work the hamstrings. If you want to work at a faster pace, you can. This can be a cardio workout for you. You can make out what you want. You can pedal out your feet a little bit, one side to the other. Maybe roll back and forward. Get a deeper stretch when you pedal the feet. You can get a little deeper hamstring stretch in one side. And use this as an opportunity to check in with yourself. And when you're ready, you can jump up, put our hands up again, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, jump back, plank. Here we can do a little this, work the obliques a little bit. We'll do 10. Create a little heat. Then we'll step up with the lunge, down, and do a stretch here. Opening up the groin a little bit. Come back to table. Then we'll stretch our spine and our neck with cat-cows, good old cat-cows. When we're in the cat-cow, you can kind of move a little bit to get a deeper stretch in some parts. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in. And breathing out. You can bring our foot up to pigeon and feel this hip stretch. And let yourself fall into it. Taking a few breaths here. Honoring yourself. Allowing yourself to cool down a little. And seeing if you sink into it. Asking yourself, what am I holding on to? Trying to find comfort in the discomfort. Of course, if anything is painful, sharp shooting pain should be avoided. Just accepting, what if I'm here for a while? What's gonna happen? If it feels better, you can come up a little bit. You can use a prop underneath you. Come down as you want. Maybe use this as an opportunity to stretch your neck a little bit. You can push your legs back, come down to Sphinx, tighten the back, tighten the glutes. Forearms down, neck soft. And just really feel this back working. You can stretch the neck a little. Soft gaze forward. When you feel ready, you can push up to child's pose. You can lean a little bit to one side or the other. Walk your hands like a rainbow around to get a deeper side stretch. You can kind of relax in this side stretch for a little bit to see how stretchy you can be. Trying to get that tension, maybe some anxiety. Just let it go. Stretch it out. Bruce Lee said, pain is weakness exiting your body. So of course, if something's painful, don't do it. But sometimes when I feel my body working and stretching or the muscles engaged, I think about that. Like pain is weakness exiting your body. So when your body's like, hey, you're stretching me, I like to think about it like saying, yeah, I'm getting that weakness out. I'm getting that tension out. You know, our bodies, just like people holding on to righteousness interferes with happiness, our bodies holding on to tension interferes with sleep and stuff. Like, I don't see how it helps us to have massive neck tension. So our bodies, just like our personalities are holding on to things that aren't serving us, our bodies are holding on to things that aren't serving us. So how do you get tension out of your body? You stretch. So here we're really getting a lot of tension out of our side, our underarm, from our hip to our fingertip. You know, we're stretching. You might feel it in one place or the other, but where you're feeling it is just your tightest point. So you'll feel it in your most restricted point, and if you're not feeling it someplace, it's because that place is looser than the other places. You can use your breath to imagine your breath as a balloon in the tight spots. As you breathe in, the balloon is expanding. As you exhale, the balloon is shrinking. You're creating space where there's no space. Your body feels tight in some spots, and the balloon is expanding to create space. And then when you exhale and the balloon shrinks, you can imagine more space in that area. And you might feel the sensation of tightness dissipate a little bit. Your body's saying, okay, you win, fine, we'll stretch. And that's an example of mind over matter and setting an intention and accomplishing a goal. And when you feel ready, you can walk your hands to center, and we'll roll back and forwards a little bit and do some cat-cows. We'll bring our leg up and our opposite hand up and bring our elbow in 10 times. And then we'll do it on the other side. You can have a nice long extension. And we'll just work the stomach muscles and some coordination. Oops. I jinxed myself. And then we'll be long and strong. And we'll bring our other leg up and do pigeon again. or not again, but we'll do pigeon on this side. And this is an opportunity to see, do the two sides feel different? So you can come up, like we talked about, or put your head down, or somewhere in between. And our hips hold a lot of tightness. So it takes a while to loosen these guys up. So what I like about the 52-week sessions for people who take this course over the course of a year is you really get to see the difference on tightness when it's over the course of the year. In an 8-week course or 6-week course, it's hard to really see a body change. Generally, body changes happen over 90 days, and frankly, it's more diet than exercise. Yoga helps because it decreases stress, lowers cortisol. A lot of hunger or bad food decision making comes from fast-paced stress, anxiety. So by having a yoga practice and increasing your breathing, more oxygen to the brain, which leads to better decision making. Sometimes that leads to better habits, better sleep. A lot of times we overeat because of sleep deprivation. They've actually done studies and shown that a way to counteract sleep deprivation is to have a lot of calories, like fishermen on a fishing boat that can't sleep, like the crab fishermen. They need a ton of calories to keep going. So that's necessary for the crab fishermen, but maybe for the rest of us, if we can relieve some tension and actually get a better night's sleep, then maybe we don't need to make up for loss of sleep with calories that we don't need. Obviously, eat what your body needs, but we can see if we can drop it down into this a little more. We'll come back down to Sphinx pose and locust. And then we'll come on our backs a little bit. So for the back, let's just do a stretch here. And we can bring the leg out. And you can kind of move it to sort of stretch the hip mobility. I'm running into the wall here. You can bring it across and feel the twist. You can tilt your eyes to the outstretched hand. Really trying to just wring all that tension out of you. Like imagine a washcloth and you're just like washing it and scrubbing it and like wringing it out clean. So with this, we'll wring out the tension. Feel your shoulder and knee drop and get heavy. As your body starts to let go, starts to elongate. And you can think about honoring yourself, giving yourself a pat on the back, praising yourself for taking the time to give yourself this practice, to not participate in the rat race, and just take a moment to be still. Through stillness, you're creating connection with yourself. And with that connection, you're more centered and able to make the best decisions for yourself. With this, you can stretch a little more. You can straighten the leg and really try to get a deep stretch here. If you're super flexible and this is not doing anything for you, then feel free to modify. And you can kind of play around with this, like moving your leg up and down and feeling if you feel tightness in different parts of your back. And really just like thinking of each little fiber and just, how do I stretch that fiber? Can bring our knees in and rock side to side, massaging our back, rocking back and forth, and side to side. Do a little happy baby, rocking side to side, feeling the tightness wherever it may be, and using the breath to just let it go. Inhale, light and love, and exhale all that doesn't serve you. You can just rock. You can, here, we're doing this side now. So you can straighten one leg, bend the other knee, arm out. You can do cactus arms if you prefer. Eyes can go to the outstretched arm. And we're supposed to kind of keep our shoulder grounded. And if the knee is not grounded, then that's fine. You can kind of play around with this. To avoid shoulder injury, the shoulder should be supported. But I really love the stretch with a little bit of gravity on both sides. You can take a big inhale and exhale and think about how you're breathing in light and love, and you're exhaling who said this and who said that and negative feelings that don't serve you. That you're thinking about how to grow and be prosperous. And you're not thinking about the prosperity of others or comparing yourself. Recognizing that this is your own individual journey. And recognizing to truly achieve happiness with something, you have to let go of needing it so badly. And that might seem counterintuitive, but it's that when we're all worked up about something, it's kind of hard to enjoy it. Like think about, I don't know, if you are a kid, you want to go to Disneyland, you're like, are we there, are we there, are we there, are we there? Like by the time you get there, you're exhausted. So sometimes wanting something so badly, it kind of like wears us out. So then even if we're lucky enough to finally get it, it's hard to enjoy it. So I think that idea is we can have goals and aspirations, but we have to also have confidence in ourselves that it's going to be okay with or without that. That life is a never-ending flow, where I guess maybe it ends, but it's in constant movement. Our cells are never exactly the same, 2 days in a row. Water in a stagnant pool can breed malaria. A waterfall of constant flow and changing water is fresh and pure. We're not meant to hold on to so much. When we let go of fear and have faith that everything will be okay, then we can start making strategic decisions towards prosperity that are based on reasonableness and not reactions. When we're full of fear, we tend to react. Let's bring our knees in. And we're going to do this stretch where we stretch the back of our hips. I love these 8 to 9:30 p.m. classes because we really get to get all the tension out and get a great night's sleep. So thank you all for letting me know what you want to work on so that we can tailor this. And I'm glad to hear that there's been good sleep going around. So I have also felt it too, so it's been awesome. Okay, if you can be like this, or your ankles can be up a little more. And big inhale and exhale. You'll feel the stretch on one side. And if you want a deeper stretch, you can bring it in more. And now we can sort of compare the other side and see, is one side more tense or not? And just breathing in and creating space. I love this stretch for in the morning between the snooze button going off. It's a way to still keep your eyes closed and get a little more sleep, but also a way to invigorate your body to make waking up a little easier. And you can just let your leg fall into you as your body releases the tension it no longer needs. You can think, this does not serve me, I'm going to let it go. And breathe and release. Noticing if your knee draws a little closer to you. You can hug your knees in. You can straighten. Maybe do a little of this for the obliques. And we can slowly lower our legs down. If this is too much for you, you can have one leg down. And we can slowly bring it up. And slowly bring it down. If it feels better to have a hand under your back, you can. Or under your tailbone. do some of this unilaterally. And then try to really think about your neck being long. And we'll slowly lower and rise. And one more time. Bringing in this knee and sort of pushing out that. And feeling a stretch. You can roll the ankles a little. On the other side. And then if it feels good, you can shimmy sort of one leg down, another in. And we can just as long as this doesn't bother your knee. If it bothers your knee, you guys are all teacher trainees. Congratulations with your RYT 200. So if it bothers your knee, you know how to modify. If you're not sure, you can always go into child's pose. Let's just really stretch this out for those that it doesn't bother them. So many of these positions, traditionally people would have stayed limber into adulthood. It's just that we spend so much time sitting in a chair. And when we sit in a chair, we don't really stretch these parts. So breathe and just let it drop a little more. Feeling the tension in your knee maybe, and you're growing. The funny thing about yoga is sometimes you don't even know you have these parts, and then you're like, that's tight, that's tight. And so it really helps us, by feeling the tightness, it really helps us get in touch with our bodies and think about it anatomically of the different ligaments and our major bone structures and our muscle groups and how it's all working together. And by understanding both the anatomy overview and then also doing the postures and feeling the tightness, we can connect the two, understand where we're tight, and work on it to prevent injury. So here, let's do the other side. And you can notice if one side is tighter than the other. If it feels good, you can put both knees down. And just let gravity do the work. If it feels good, you can use cactus arms here. You can do a shoulder stretch, one arm to the side, or the other, or cactus arms. Just letting that knee fall to the mat. Stretching the upper thigh. Encouraging your hip to let go. Breathing in and out. Honoring yourself for taking the time to practice, for prioritizing your physical health and interest in a degree. Recognizing that you are the decider, that you are your most important customer, that sometimes we spend so much time thinking about what others want us to do, but what if you thought of yourself as the client? And we jump when the client calls, but what if your needs were like a telephone call to you? What if your needs were like a business meeting with you? One of the things I told my daughter about today is, if somebody says, oh, I'm busy because I need to exercise, or I'm busy because I haven't drank water all day, I need to drink it, everyone would think they're crazy. But the magic word to get some alone time is to say, oh, I have a call, even saying, oh, I have a million emails to catch up on, I have to go. Sometimes people still take your time. But if you say, oh, I have a call, people are like, oh my gosh, go. It's the magic word. So, I say to people now, imagine you have a call with yourself. Imagine you have a 3 o'clock call with yourself. That's a way to set a boundary, if that's what you need to check in with yourself. We'll spend a few more breaths here and really release. And then we'll go into Savasana. We'll do a 5-minute meditation to conclude in Savasana. In about a minute, we'll start. If you want to do another posture to stretch, feel free. And with this, we'll bring our knees into chest and slowly extend. You can have gold pose or cactus arms. You can do goddess pose or straight back. And we'll do a meditation just by breathing. You can put a hand on your stomach, a hand on your heart, because this is a second level yoga teacher training, the RYT 300. I'm going to leave the meditation to your own thoughts. You can structure it as you wish, or just focus on your breath. You can move your head side to side to help your neck stretch if that feels good, or leave it on one side and then the other. Breathing and releasing. You can put your hands on your legs to try to encourage a deeper stretch. If you had your neck to one side, you can have your neck to another. If it feels good, you can do some self-massage, just trying to get some of that tension out. Your neck and shoulders. it serves you. You can switch your position with the knees to one side or the other. You can put a foot on one of the legs to get a deeper stretch. Focusing on your breath. With each breath, you can imagine you're clearing your thoughts, cleansing your mind, feeling pure, with unbridled creativity and ambition. Feeling positive about yourself, and either positive or not too concerned about other things that maybe you engaged with before and were not so constructive. And inhale and exhale all that doesn't serve you. With each inhale, feeling strong and centered and confident. And with each exhale, extinguishing all the bad feelings and things that don't serve you. And with that positivity, you can put a hand on one side and slowly get up to a seated position, Sukhasana or lotus. You can just stretch the hips a little bit, one circle and then the other. Namaste. Oh, sorry, I don't really know how to do this.